This is the virtual happy hour experience with the Drunken Grape. I am your show host, Rob. Each and every week, we feature extraordinary drinks with extraordinary people. And I am so stoked to bring on a friend of mine I've known for literally almost 30 years. She is a financial expert, was in the financial services arena for the better part of a decade and a half, has tons of business experience, has moved and forayed into the world of coaching as a best-selling author and a digital nomad. We're going to talk all about this, and this is a big celebration of women in business. Kim Day, you are a role model in this world. How the hell are you, my friend? Man, we haven't talked in a while.
I know. I'm awesome, Rob, and I'm so excited to be here and be on your show. This is amazing.
Yeah, and it's you're doing amazing things. And like I said, we always feature extraordinary drinks with extraordinary people. For the viewers out there, make sure to smash the likes, subscribe to this show. When you do, hit the notification bell, select all. We invite you to comment below. We invite you to share these videos because they're very insightful. And Kim, you know, you've definitely made a splash in the business world. I know you've got a lengthy Rolodex of experience. This is not by mishap. You spent the better part of 13 to 14 years in the financial services industry as a true professional. Then you migrated you wrote a book, I believe, like as some type of pillars of success. We will get to that. I'm trying to remember, but I'll let you talk about that title. I know that your best-selling book doubled your income. And since you have forayed into the world of coaching and also we're going to talk about this because there's so many people interested in this in the world of business too, is the world of being a digital nomad, because we live in, quite frankly, very bizarre times. You don't even know what the truth is half the time anymore. You have the pandemic ravishing the globe, or what was left of it, a lot of overreach and overstep, and as well financial uncertainty. You know, how long can you keep printing dollars, which is currency? It's not real money, before you really inflate and create bad things to the economy, which invites people really in a growing decentralized world, which is the big plus. You can decentralize your finance. I'm sure we can get into that. We can decentralize news coverage. You can decentralize business because you can also just go virtual. So talk to us a bit about that, Kim, and how did you get started? How'd you get started out of the financial world, and what got you into coaching? What got you rolling into what you're doing now?
Well, first of all, yes, right now I'm living this amazing life, right? I'm, like you mentioned, a digital nomad. So I'm currently in beautiful, sunny South Florida. Of course, I'm not on the beach, although I love when people post stuff like that. Like, I'm working from the beach. I'm like, oh, hell no, you're not. You can't even see your laptop screen from the beach. It's way too glary. So here I am in a little conference room that I rented because I'm traveling, right? And I don't always have access to amazing Zoom background space. But there's lots of places when you're traveling that have rock solid internet, whether it be a Starbucks or a local library. So there's always places that I can go to do amazing stuff like this and talk to amazing people, while I'm just steps from the outdoors and the sunshine and the beach, which was always a huge, big goal of mine. I had this expression going through my entrepreneurship in the early days. I called it my phone in hand, toes in sand, semi-retirement plan. I always knew I wanted to chase the beaches of the world, especially in the winter, right, Rob? Because who wants to live in Canada in the freaking winter? So I was like, I'm gonna at least spend some time in the winter down south. But it wasn't always that way, right? So and as a financial advisor,
sure,
as a financial advisor, I was.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was locked into, working for somebody else. No, sorry. We've never had this huge conversation. So feel free if I'm not sharing something or you want to ask a question. That's amazing. I love it because I want to have the conversation, right? But yeah, as a financial advisor, I mean, working in that financial services sector, I can remember, even myself, all the rest of the advisors, the mortgage brokers, the realtors. We were just talking about that earlier. You were locked down to geographically one area. I was licensed in the province of Ontario. That was it. I couldn't work outside of the province of Ontario. And now I've created a business that supports the lifestyle I wanted to have. And what I think, if you're listening and that lands or resonates with you, that you feel like kind of a bit trapped, I'm telling you right now, you can very well create the business of your dreams to support the lifestyle of your dreams while helping a whole bunch of other people. And it's truly possible for you if that's what you want.
Yeah, you've hit on a whole whack of things there. The fact that you've really rolled into being a digital nomad, the fact that you have really taken off in and out of the world of finance. We were talking about real estate agents. Got to be a tough racket right now, especially with hyperinflation hitting houses, reckless government management, especially here in Canada. You have no inventory. You have massive competitiveness. You are not free. You're literally chained to your desk. It's not a lifestyle I would want. I've got friends that have done very well in it, but you're glued to your phone. You're working weekends. You're away from your loved ones all the time. And the financial services industry is much the same way, because once you get the bigger book of clients, there's more demands, there's more headache. You're tied more to companies. You're tied more to their structure. You have to hit sales targets that they start to make, in a lot of cases, they're unattainable bonus structures, because companies get greedy too, and it locks you in always chasing a carrot that's never there. Having a lot of money doesn't equate to freedom. Controlling your time is what equates to freedom. And I've always said that to people. And I love how you said phone in the hand, toes in the sand, because that really resonates with me. And I know that you've also had a lot of struggles. Well, I talk a bit about triumph over adversity in every show. You're a cancer survivor. A lot of people aren't aware of that. Did that have anything to do with you changing your whole outlook and saying, you know what, fuck this. I'm just going to grab the bull by the horns now. Now is the time to move forward. Yep. I'm not fully happy. I'm making 6 digits, but I'm controlled by everybody. Let's just get out and do what I want to do now, because it's a wake-up call. I lost my twin sister from cancer too, breast cancer. And it's one of those things that it woke me up as an awakening. And did this have a huge impact on you in doing what you're doing now?
Absolutely, 100%. In fact, I call it my TSN turning point of the game. And prior to cancer, I was sitting on the sidelines of the game of life. And that diagnosis changed everything. It had me reflecting inward that, okay, if this takes me out of the game, what can I say I accomplished? What are people going to say about me at my funeral? It's almost that idea, and you've heard the exercise of writing your own eulogy. This was what I was doing. I was reflecting. I was going, oh my God. And quite frankly, Rob, I was sitting there looking at myself going, I'm a loser. I haven't done anything that I wanted to accomplish. I'm 43 years old and I had a condo. That's the only thing I had. I didn't really have a thriving business. I wasn't married. I have no children. I was like, what am I leaving behind? What is my legacy? And in that moment of self-reflection, when I was going oh man, this sucks, I planted a flag. I made a commitment to myself that not if, but when I beat cancer, I was getting off the freaking sidelines and I was getting in the game and I was going to play it to win. And it changed everythp about how I looked at life.
That's awesome.
And it really set me on that trajectory.
Is awesome.
Right?
Yeah, and you know what? Cheers to that and happy hour. I know you don't have a drink in hand because you got 10 hours more of work. This is Orval. This is one of the 12 functional Trappist monasteries in the world. There were 13, but monastery to show. The last monk left and it got absorbed, I believe, by Westmalle. So Trappist monasteries, how they work, Kim, is this is really a Belgian pale ale. It's the hoppiest version of it. It's a great introductory beer to monk beer or Trappist ales that tend to be very strong and opulent. We're looking at beers in a bottle that are often 6.9% to 10%. They're bottle conditioned, so like champagne, they have a second fermentation in bottle. They add a little bit of yeast, brewer's yeast, and sugar. What happens is they gain another percent in strength or so. So high strength beer. This one tends to be softer. You know, you've got some toffee caramel notes in it. You have some spiciness to it. There's definitely some hop bitterness in it. It's a bit lighter than the rest. And to be a monk beer or a Trappist ale, it has to be brewed within the walls of the monastery itself. These are actually classified zones of production or regions, much like Grand Crus would be in the wine world. They're at the pinnacle of the beer world. This is a great introductory to, I would say, if you're an IPA or a APA drinker, this is a tremendous beer to grab on. So cheers to you. Cheers to sharing your story with us today. You know, much love, friend. Breaking bread, just having a bit of a virtual breakdown. We do this in virtual tastings. So if you have any more interest in that, ladies and gentlemen, you can hit me up directly at info@thedrunkengrape.com or rob@thedrunkengrape.com. But getting back to everything, Kim, you moved into coaching, and I want to bring up your LinkedIn profile. So with the impetus of you overcoming something nasty like cancer, and, you know, I invite you to watch a great show called Showing Up Perspectives of Cancer. It's a live stream on LinkedIn on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tim Sohn is a 15-year, had leukemia for 15 years and overcame it. And he hosts a show with this girl named Kara Oakler. They do a great job. They actually have a fundraising coming up, trying to raise $50,000 for leukemia. I invite you to donate into that if you can. I definitely am. I definitely do help them on it because it's something I'm passionate about. And like you, I'm passionate about helping others, and so are they. And we're going to talk a bit now about coaching and the great Kim Day. What a beautiful LinkedIn page. I love the photo on it. So talk a bit about your book. I know that we went to Carleton University together, and at the time, I believe you were probably into economics, but you talk about your books, and here we are, talk Write and Grow Rich, marketing and branding consultant. So talk to us a little bit about all this. What got you into coaching, and how's it transforming people's lives? How's things working out for you with that arena?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking that question, because it was a really wild transition. I mean, I was a financial advisor for over 13 years. But to be honest, too, you know, like I got to a good place in my finance business, but it was fraught with, as an entrepreneur, growing an advisor's practice. You know, I learned all the things that you need to do with money once you have it. But what I never was taught was the skills to go out and do the lead generation and find all the clients. They never taught you that at finance school, right?
Right.
So I felt like I was constantly struggling. So as an entrepreneur trying to grow an independent practice, I felt like I was constantly on this roller coaster. I call it the income roller coaster. You know, I'd have a really great month, and then I'd be helping clients, and then I'd stop marketing and lead generating. And then all of a sudden you'd have a couple of months that were lower. And it was anxiety creating. So I'd go in and out of jobs. I'd go get a job as a financial manager at an automotive dealership, for example. And then again, I'm 12-hour days, like strapped to a desk, being bullied and bossed around by, you know, a male-dominated industry. No offense, Rob, you're awesome, but some of the people in that industry, they're
true.
not so awesome.
True, you're speaking fact there.
And as a strong, independent woman, right, as a strong, independent woman, that was challenging too. I was in two very male-dominated industries, the automotive and the finance. And after the cancer, like I said, I decided to make some decisions. I was going to go and arm myself with personal and professional development. I was going to learn the skills I needed to grow a big, thriving practice, so I didn't have to go back to having a job. And I was actually at this one of the very first conferences I went to. It was called the World's Greatest Marketing Seminar. It was in LA, which was also kind of started sparking my love for travel. I was like, I got to travel, go to a conference, write off all the expenses, and come back with a whole bunch of learning that I was able to implement. And one of the speakers at that conference is the one, you know, they say they hire coaches, have mentors. These people change your life. They accelerate your path because they've done the work before, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And this gentleman was speaking about writing a book to help elevate your brand, position yourself as a thought leader in your space, and use it to grow your business. And I was thinking to myself, who are all the people in finance that I follow? Like Robert Kiyosaki, Susie Orman, David Bach in the United States. I was looking at Gail Vaz-Oxlade and David Shilton, the wealthy barber in Canada. And I thought to myself, what do they all have in common? Right? They have that book, which not only built their businesses, but almost elevated them to celebrity status. So I was like, that's it. I'm going to try that. And that's when I wrote my first book, The Financial Fitness Playbook.
That's
so
the book. Yes, I love the title of it. Yes, you did some podcasts on this. I've seen this featured and sold on social media and Facebook. You really pushed it. It's the people I know who have bought it, I definitely need to get a copy of that. I've said it's a great book. And
happy to get you a copy, Robbie.
Awesome. Cool. Kudos to you.
And it was just fun. I mean, I tried to make finance fun, right? Because it's a boring topic. And, my whole shtick was when it comes to your money, you have to know the rules if you want to play the game. So it was my whole idea, and it all kind of sparked from my cancer journey. And this is the one that catapulted my finance business into the 6-figure mark. It also, in less than 12 months, doubled my business and doubled my income. And the results were so transformational, Rob, that I was like, a second epiphany happened to me, right? Like the cancer, the journey that I hadn't, the idea that I hadn't done as well in my life that I wanted to. The second realization that I came to once I had all those clients was it was not that I don't have enough clients problem. What I really had was an I hate my business problem.
Right. And a lot of people go through that.
I was miserable, but I'd been doing it for 13 years. I didn't know what else to do. Well, and then my foray into personal and professional development made me realize that what if I could help people transform lives? And when I decided to become a book coach, because think about that, I had to go to a networking meeting, Rob, and I had to go, hi, instead of going, hi, my name's Kim, the financial advisor, with a twist, because I was helping people in real estate investing and all that kind of stuff, right? Instead of doing that, I was going, hi, my name is Kim and I'm a book coach. I was like, people are going to think I am batshit crazy. What the heck am I going to do? Right? Yeah. And how many times do people get stopped in their tracks by fear of what other people are going to think of them? So I was almost at that thing, like, maybe, right? And I thought, what am I going to do? And then, you know what? I reframed it in my own mind. So what I did was I said to myself, no, Kim, you're going to go and help people have more transformational financial results in their businesses. You're going to help them get their businesses to 6 figures. That's still helping them with their money game. It's just doing it in a different way. And the minute I was able to change that in my own mind, that's it. I was off to the races.
It worked out for you. Absolutely.
The second program and book was born, which is called Write and Grow Rich.
One of those things,
that's the baby.
Kim, it's one of those things.
And now I go to work every day helping people and who are excited about their life. They're excited to become an author. They're excited to publish a book. They're excited to explode their business results instead of going, oh, do I really need to stop going to Starbucks every day? Do I really need to buy the life insurance? Like, the conversations I have today are so different. They're so enlightening, they're so powerful, and they're so amazing.
Well, and you're living it.
Do it on my own terms.
Yeah. What I love is you're living it. You live in Florida now. You were in Vancouver. You came to Ottawa. Now you're in Florida. And now you're really a global citizen. And a lot of this is the decentralization of things. I mean, as much as our central governments are trying to clamp down, freedoms are actually being stripped away. That's my point of view on it.
Yep.
We live in a democracy. You can have any point of view on it you want. That's the beauty of freedom. But I find that freedom is actually being stripped. But at the same time, there's more tools than ever to be free. It's simple. If you want to be free, own physical gold and silver, buy cryptocurrencies, have a crypto wallet, develop a business that's portable, write a book, go virtual. As in your trade, you can coach anywhere in the world. And thank God you're a real coach, because that coaching term is so bastardized, especially on LinkedIn too. You get people coming out going, I'm a LinkedIn coach or a business coach. And then you look at their breadth of work. Well, there is no work. They haven't spent at least 7,000 to 10,000 hours in a real industry like finance to turn that and parlay that into life coaching. And you have, and that's what separates people like you from the pack. And I'm really grateful to hear and really happy to hear that you're doing really, really well. And writing a book is no easy task. It's actually going to be my next feat. I'm just trying to get my head around it. Like this podcast channel took a few years to get my head around. How do I turn video into a streamlined performance and a show that would gravitate people to watch it? And then I thought about it. Everyone loves a happy hour. I am a sommelier and a beer sommelier professionally. Unlike a lot of people out there, I actually really know a boatload about that topic. But why not combine that in sharing the stories of people who've triumphed over adversity, who are really extraordinary and have done extraordinary things, often in the really in the face of great odds, such as yourself. I mean, your life was on the line. I watched my sister's life deteriorate. These moments define us. It changed me too. And for those listening out there, this is not as hard as you think. I would highly suggest you reach out to people like Kim if you want to go into the digital nomad world, if you want to expand your business. Six digits reasonably is a very attainable goal. And it's also a very financially solvent one. When a business hits into the mid 6 digits, you're rocking numbers, especially if you're a solopreneur or you're a small scale team. This is a very profitable way to do things. And would you not agree, Kim?
Yeah.
Building it in a way that's decentralized, that you can go borderless now, is probably the smartest way you can definitely build things. On a parting note.
100%. I mean, I've fully done what I said I was going to do, which is create my own economy. Nothing, no government rules, no policies, no mandates. Nothing stops me at this point. I'm in charge of my own lifestyle, my own business, my own destiny, because I made a decision. I planted my flag and I created it for myself. And if you're listening, it doesn't need to be cancer. That's your turning point, right? That was a big one for me. But sometimes it's you got fired from your job, you quit your job, you're going through a divorce or a separation, you've lost a child, you've lost a parent, like whatever your story is that makes you sit and reflect and think, I was meant for more. I can do more. I can be more. I can have more money, have more time, and have more magic. Those are the 3 things we're all after. Nobody goes screeching into the grave going, darn, I wish I spent more hours at work.
I always say that. Absolutely.
I ain't screeching into the gates going, oh boy, my biggest regret is I didn't spend more time at the office. Like most people, it's I didn't spend enough time with my family or my grandkids, or I didn't travel to places I wanted to. Well, whatever it is that you want, it's all just on the other side of your comfort zone. Because for most people, this is a big, scary thing. Like, where do I start? What do I do? And I'm obviously happy to have a conversation with anyone about that. And if you will, if anybody is interested in, if you're already working in the entrepreneurial space, I have some free gifts. I'm happy to let Rob know about them if he wants to put them in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a 20-page workbook. Yeah, I've got a 20-page workbook. It's a 10-step guide to plan and write a client-attracting book. I'm happy to give that away for free. It comes with 10 training videos. And Rob, happy to give that to any one of your listeners as a free gift.
That's awesome. Listen, this has been a tremendous happy hour. I've loved this show. Kim, on the parting note, and ladies and gentlemen, Kim has said a lot here. Be the change you want to be. Mahatma Gandhi has said that, and that resonates. You're not going to cross the line until you be the change you want to be. Have a terrific day. Listen, this has been a splendid show. Kim, you've been awesome. All this is going to be featured in the show notes, in the description of the show on YouTube. We're going to also share how to reach out to and contact Kim. Ladies and gentlemen, have a terrific day. This is Rob and Kim from The Drunken Grid.